live and direct on the ones and twos, catching us quick fade. Oh man, oh man. So what happens when you're trying to do something and the powers that be want to interfere? Do better things with your crypto. What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? That used to be the saying for a gentleman. That was that was his thing, man. That was like his one of his mottos. And let me tell you, it rang true back then. We're talking back in 2018, and it rings true today in 2023. I don't I don't understand why people choose to stand in their own way rather than give something else a chance or themselves a chance by removing themselves out of their own way by way of stop blocking your own blessings, you know? And that's just in general, not just with crypto, but in general, period. Like, folks, you know, sometimes we're unwilling to learn, we're unwilling to listen, we're unwilling to just set aside our own pride, our egos, right? We trip over our own feet sometimes. And for what? Why? So we want to, remain right. How? How? At some point, you have to fall. At some point, you have to lose. And sometimes it's through losing that you actually win. Because when you're losing, there's an opportunity that's present there for you to learn something. So that way, when a situation arises again that you experience that caused you to lose, when that situation resurfaces, you know what to do to handle it accordingly so you could avoid falling, failing, losing. That's how you win. You learn from mistakes. You learn. When you don't, you are just simply doomed to repeat the mistakes. Back then, when the saying would do better things with your crypto, shout out to the guy. He knows who he is. And people in DeFi, if you, in certain sectors of DeFi, know where this came from as far as do better things with your crypto. You know, it's something that people really just when you look back and you sort of like reflect on how things have unfolded and how things have led to you being here today or us being here today, we could sort of like assess what's going on presently so we know where to go. We know how we're going to move forward. And with this crypto, like, folks, It's amazing how 2021, 2022, people were just anxiously excited, if that's even a thing, anxiously waiting, impatiently waiting, having no expectations for Pulse Chain to come out, right? Thinking about, wow, folks have said, whether it's in groups, chat groups online, or even publicly, that they wish they could have even sacked more, right? Those who sacrifice for Pulse Chain Pulse. There's some that said that they wish they missed the sacrifice phases. They wish they could have sacked more, and this and that, that and this. The chain finally comes out, and people just, for whatever reasons, don't have don't have the amount that they had when the airdrops were given, right? Many people, from what the sentiments seem like, they have a lot less. Some have more, but many have a lot less, and publicly have said, this it's a wrap, like they're out. I don't know if it's because they're frustrated from waiting too long. They want somebody to blame, right? They're angry. They overextended themselves. Who knows what the reasons are? But my thing is, when you take what you waited 22 months to receive and just let it go for something else, or just pretty much exit the system, live your life, you deal with what comes with that. That's whatever, it's a free market, you could do whatever. But when you take those coins and you trade it for something else that is questionable, just because you want to gamble and you have a plan to possibly, you're thinking in your mind, if you let go of what you waited 22 months for something else that's brand new, just came out of nowhere, and you try to get a return on multiples so that you can maybe acquire more of what you gave up, of what you waited 22 months for, and it doesn't work out for you, that's an L. That's a loss. And these are the things that's what's amazing, and like some borderline unbelievable. Like, this is unreal. This is the stuff and behavior that many people in the community have been just talking about in a way to sort of like support what's been said, as far as like the pitfalls of trading. And this whole time, folks are just trying to, like, adopt that type of thinking to prevent loss. And what have people done? The exact same thing. The exact same thing. They chose to just continuously look, it's all about trading now. Forget forget keeping yourself in a position where you're earning more, or you don't have to really be in a position of loss by engaging in trading activities. No, no, no. They just are trading now, folks. The same things, the same things. Like, it's real, it's crazy. And what am I talking about? You should understand what I'm saying. The same things that, you know, the founder has been saying has been harmful to people, even though he's familiar, very familiar with being a trader himself. But who else can talk to you about the real about trading than somebody who's been trading, who always talks about how he called the Bitcoin top on the day and blah, blah, blah. But telling the world that this is a harmful activity to engage in, because more often you're not going to win, you're going to lose more often than not. And what have people done? Like, they just stood in their own way and said, "Oh, forget about those things. Forget about holding your own keys. Forget about, you know, putting your crypto in a position where you can't touch it for however long. Forget about, all these things. It's about satiating your palate right now. It's about, let's get to this bag today, right now, right this second." And that's just, you see, it's not working the same for everybody. It's not, because if it was something that was successful and productive, and you can realize gains, like, everyone would do it. Everyone. And folks just choose to just whatever, think that they have a better strategy than something that's been working. Like it's very hard to really understand and believe that the best people or the most successful people have been the most successful in crypto. Like things folks forget. I don't understand why y'all forgetting and acting like it doesn't matter. Things people forget. What are the three things that the founders always talk about that help people become the most successful in crypto? Being a founder, being an owner of an exchange, being a hodler. Like, and that's irrefutable. Whether you want to accept it or not, it's irrefutable. Irrefutable. We're presented a chance here to not necessarily be a founder. For folks who created stuff, they're technically are founders, blah, blah, blah. But most people are not founders in this community. Most people are not founders in crypto. So you have a chance here, been given a chance to at least be, an owner of an exchange by way of PulseX, for example, because this is what the founder created, right? And be a hodler, but not only hodl for the sake of hodling, but you're mining your coins. You're having it reproduce every day on its own, and you're not doing it. It's doing it for you. You know, like it's something that's working on your behalf because you're utilizing the code that's designed to do that. Nobody is telling you when to mine, when not to mine, how much to take out when it's time for you to take your stakes out or end your stakes. There's no one's there to turn the thing on and off. But these things part of the formula to be successful, right? You got 2 out of 3. If you got 3 out of 3, then you're sitting pretty right now. But folks dismiss all of that within almost 5 months since Pulse Chain has been out. Everyone is just like, it's just degen world, degen mania from people in the community who misrepresented themselves. Like they clearly misrepresented themselves, jumping on all these streams, creating Telegram groups, right? These guys that the community that want to be the face, they just want attention. They put themselves out there. A lot of them have switched sides on themselves. Forget about the community, but they've turned on themselves, meaning they have stood in their own way. It's not about even losing their way. They got off the path, and that's on them. And unfortunately, because it's their right, it's anyone's right to do whatever they want in a market. This is a free market. You can decide to do whatever. But the part about it that's problematic with all this, and you have to be adult. You have to really think about this like seriously, because this is about money. No one's gonna respect your money more than you. But when you're watching, like I came into this into watching these streamers, and people in the Hex community that purported to have been in here in the community from the beginning, talk on multiple streams, regular streams that were going on a regular basis. These faces and to present an image as if they were the pillars and true believers in this system. I've seen them switch sides, 180-degree turn, 180-degree difference, which is their right. But I'm drilling this. I'm saying this because y'all got to understand that they don't care. And the reason why they don't care about the community, they only care about themselves. They don't care about the community because they forgot or don't even care that you want to put your face out there. You want to put your face out in the world. The attention, that attention is a form of energy that I believe is also currency too, because you're feeding a need to be heard. You're feeding a need to be accepted. You want the fuel of attention from your audience for whatever personal internal reasons that you have, right? But when you misrepresent yourself, what do you think that does to your viewers who, by default, because they're human, hopefully you have viewers who are human and not demons and animal, whatever out here, right? The people follow and listen to what you say. Even if it's one person out of this place they call Earth that has 8 billion people, even if it's one person that heard you, that listen to you, that follow you, that believe in what you're talking about, who support you, and you got them doing what you're talking about, and then you switch up, there lies your lack of responsibility and accountability for yourself. And when they get hurt, who do they have to blame in addition to themselves? Because again, we always try to, blah blah blah, but the truth is in the matter is this is a solo sport, and everybody's, depending on doing making their own decisions on their own accord, right? Everyone has to take onus, but we use the internet to spread the word. We use the internet to encourage a conversation, to market, to bring attention, to talk about things, right? To create awareness, to develop a so-called community so that folks can know what's going on here, to create interest, to create a hype. And when you try to be the face of something, and you're talking about how powerful it is, when the founder talks about this thing is Nobel Peace Prize worthy, whether it's from a thing of being, a braggart or whatever, but you see how powerful this thing works. And you say you're the face, you're a supporter, you're an OG, you're a true believer, you're whatever. And then you flip the script altogether and do something else and wreck yourself. What do you think happens to the people who follow you and do the same thing? They wreck themselves too. So now you've become your own group of people who become disgruntled, who become jaded, right? You created a situation where it's become more problematic than not for nothing because you want to be the face of something. This is why I've always been cognizant of what I say, what I do on the social media platform, because I know people listen, because I see how it impacts me when I'm a viewer and when I'm listening. If I don't have my head screwed on right on top of my body and I'm not thinking correctly, I'm gonna mess around and wreck myself over and over and over again because I'm listening to people who don't have my best interest in their hearts. Because that's not what this thing is designed for. There are more people who show you foul behavior than those who do on the internet. I don't care if you believe me or not. This is what's been true. This is what's been what this is what history has shown. And I'm not talking about anything outside the community. I'm talking about what we have right here. It's not about negativity, it's about reality. It's about the truth. 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 2 weeks ago, yesterday. Coins are coming out all the time. And you have folks that have been in the community that talk, right? Because people are bored. Folks don't have anything to do, right? You would think that people would be busy enough and just be, very productive, but people, they rather whatever, glue themselves up to something. But where people fall short is when you're paying attention to information that's misleading you, information that's actually harmful to you, and then you suffer the consequences, you have nobody else to blame but yourself. Because what you ingest, you become. You understand? The information that you take in, you become. So if you want to listen to folks who want to tell you that they have the secret sauce, and they do something and you go follow them, but then they're gonna tell you not financial advice. Do your own research. That's the cop out. That's the cop out. So it removes the, it's this fake game that they get engaged in, these manipulative, you know, tactics that take advantage of people who are unsuspecting, who are new, who don't know any better. Take advantage, and then when something happens, a rug pull takes place, a scam takes place, something happens where somebody fleeces a community from all types of money, whatever sums of money, and then you hold the bag of L's, the bag of bad experiences. You have a bad taste in your mouth. You're pissed off. You're worried now because you got into something and you hurt yourself, and you have nobody else to blame but you. But then the promoters, these so-called OG Hexicans that have done that, not all, but a few people know who they are. Period. And this is what has happened, right? When they do what they do, is they absolve. They absolved, but they continue to pillage through. They continue to spread their message, their gospel of misinformation, misleading people under the guise of trying to onboard folks. You're gonna stop talking about what got you to this point. Not even got you, but got to the community to this point. You're gonna stop talking about the building blocks, the foundation that strengthen this small space. You're gonna stop talking about that because now you have a different strategy that you think is better than what built everything up to this point. To allow us to have a layer one blockchain, to allow us to have a DEXA company, that to allow us to farm, to allow us to do different things, to build, to prepare for a bull market. You're gonna dismiss all of that because you have another strategy on the side to fill your own bags up. Never mind who gets hurt. It's about you. It's about you. It's about you getting to the bag, getting your money today, and forget about tomorrow. Forget about next year. Forget about staking. No one talks about it enough anymore. No one even tries to even project. Or it's not even about projecting because we know speculation is somewhat of a disease. You're guessing, you're gambling. Gambling is an addiction. But we can't lie to ourselves and not act that within the 22 months that folks were waiting for PulseChain and PulseX to materialize, having no expectations that there wasn't these talks of multiple X's, synonymous with what Ethereum did, synonymous with what other comparable DEXs have done. You can't dismiss and pretend like all of a sudden now, because what? Because the chain is launched now and some SEC lurking investigation, whatever, Gary Gensler, blah blah blah, is caused. Now it's just about 10x conversations and 20x conversations. What has changed so drastic for people to just, post chain launches and it's just immediate division? Folks are just scramble like roaches. The light turned on and you just run away. Forget about what you built to this point. Forget about what allowed you to be a part of something that's been built up to this point to keep you strong and keep you in a position where you could be relatively safe in a risky markets, to have you experience something good, to have you be successful, generating wealth for your future. Forget about that. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't. Because you see it's indicative of what's going on right here. You see it on the chart. You see it on Pulse Chain. You just see all the myriad of nonsense and foolishness, and how every trader is telling you they have the secret sauce. And what's crazy is a lot of people are going to find out about what's going on here, because that's just how it works. When everything turns on, when the money starts, they're sitting on the sidelines, getting ready to flood the market. Again, you're gonna have much more eyes, new eyes, fresh eyes coming into this space. And hopefully they're gonna see what they need to see and make the decisions that are right for them. But there's so many people in this thing. This is why you as an individual, you can't depend and listen to just anybody out here who's talking to you. You have to learn, gather enough information to trust yourself. Trust yourself. Trust yourself by the work that you do. Value the work that you put in to understand and know the difference between what's true and what's false. Because this is always what this is about. It's about believing, having the faith and understanding that what you have works, and what you have, you know the value of what you have, so you can move forward. Who cares? Like if we look at it outside, forget about crypto. What gives this dirty fiat that we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis any value besides the guns from the military? What gives it any value, right? What forces us to just use this? It's our faith, believing in a piece of paper that we supposed to use to barter and exchange and blah blah blah. It's our faith, it's our belief. It's the same thing that's transferred over here with this crypto stuff. But folks are bugging out. Folks are bugging out. People just don't care. So I say who cares all the time, because y'all don't care. Nobody cares. Person crying on social media because they made a misstep. They dumped their coins that they waited 22 months for some crap coin, right? Lost, got wrecked, and you crying on social media for help, for support. What are you talking about? That's the energy that's being celebrated now. Don't get me wrong. I'm not one to be happy when people lose, but I've seen this too many times over again. Like it's like you're part of your rite of passage, right? Is to experience loss, to experience pain, to get absolutely wrecked. Because for some, experience is the best teacher. I had to get wrecked multiple times over. Thought I had the strategy of all strategies. I failed, but I learned, and that's why I'm comfortable. I don't care what condition the market is in today or tomorrow or the end of the year or the next year. If I'm in this for years, why am I worried about what's happening today? Why am I worried about all that? What have we learned up to this point? Y'all behave like you don't you forgot everything, like it doesn't matter. This is the difference between, like, you have to be a rare breed. You have to be a person that just goes against the fold. Like a lot of people are just sheep. They're just afraid of confrontation. They're afraid of change, right? They talk a good game to themselves, but when it's time to stand up for something, they fold. They live on their knees. If you're in crypto, you're not a sheep. If you're in real crypto, like real crypto, you're not supposed to be some type of person who kowtows and just bends over, gets flagged, and asks for another. Thank you, oppressor, man. Have another. This is how y'all perform when you switch sides. You switch sides, all of a sudden you become your own biggest hypocrite, and you do something that goes against what when you know better, you should do better. But this is what you find over here. That's why, like for real, like this has just been an amazing year. An amazing year. Why? In the beginning of the year, people were still saying soon. When this soon, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, all this stuff soon, soon, soon. For the Pulse Chain and PulseX. And why I say it's been an amazing year, because in the springtime, the chain was launched, right? Finally, right? Well, along with the DEX, finally, right? Okay, maybe the rollout wasn't the best, but it's still here, right? We have what is here. People waited X amount of time, 22 months, it's here. Can't say you got rug, can't say you got scam. Then all of a sudden, it's a beautiful struggle. All of a sudden, you watching folks flip their wigs. They don't believe in PulseX anymore at all. Folks just don't believe. Abandon it. Abandon it. Abandon it. Dumped billions and billions and billions. Free market, you could do whatever you want. But you can see the emotional changes and unintelligence that people exhibit. They allow their feelings to cause them to just go crazy. Why? Because there's no single-sided staking on Pulse X. So billions and billions, billions gone. Pulse chain below sacrifice like a mother. So is Pulse X. All this stuff. People are like, oh, I should have just waited. Why did I sacrifice? All this drama, 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 drama. You don't have an outlook anymore. You're not even looking at a year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, 5 years, because you weren't in it for the long haul. You weren't in it. That's why there's many people that missed out on the Bitcoin run. There's many people that missed out on the Ethereum run because you didn't have a long-term view. You weren't practicing one of the three things that the most successful people in crypto have achieved. You weren't a hodler. You don't have it in you. That's why folks like that guy from Overwatch, I remember listening to him. I don't even know if it was a Spaces 2 years ago, but this was in the middle of, or the time of active post chain sacrifice. The guy from Overwatch just flat out said, whether people, and a lot of people don't like him, some people do. It's about the message. He said people are gonna miss out. He just flat out said, y'all not gonna see 10,000x. Y'all not gonna do it. You're not. You're not going to see 11,000x. You're not going to see 15,000x. You're not, because you're weak. I'm not saying that's what he said, but he said flat out, you're not going to see it because people are just going to dump. They don't believe. They don't have the fortitude to hold. And that came from him 2 years ago. And I couldn't say he's lying. I can't say he's lying because even up to that point, I've seen what happens when people don't hold. Folks don't. Holding is too hard for people. It's too hard. It's too difficult for folks to even think about. To even, right? It takes a certain level, a certain character, a high level of discipline. I've heard it. I've heard it in post-chain chats where the guys who shilling liquid loans never. When I heard the few times I was in those post-chain chats when everything was 24/7, everything was a euphoric mania. I never heard these guys talk about staking long term. I've even heard some guy, Lando Calrissian, whatever, Star Wars name. People got these funny names in crypto. Say, oh, so if you see 100 million in 2 years, you mean to tell me you're not gonna pull out? Ha 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 ha. Now it's relative. You see numbers like that. I mean, that's generative. Forget about life changing. That's descendants. Your descendants could be recipients of that. Could enjoy that if you know what you're doing. Yeah, a person might take something, but his outlook didn't go past 2 years. People forgot. People forgot. People don't care. They don't have the same story. They don't have. This is why it's not for everybody. They're not going to believe in long term anything. Folks who staked maybe 100 hex for 15 years because maybe that's all they could afford. Maybe they don't believe that Hex will be around in 15 years. These folks simply don't believe. They stand in their own way. You have your own internal struggles, and it bleeds throughout these charts. It bleeds all over these markets. Consistency matters. It just does. If a person talks over and over and over and over and over on social media, they reveal who they are after a while. Maybe not completely, but they'll show you who they are. And you have to pay attention to the people who have been consistent. People in this community, I don't care about these other communities. The people in this community who have been consistent in their message, because that alone is valuable, because that means something. Not the ones who you thought were consistent and showed you something else. If you want to believe in them, you have to deal with everything they do. You have to deal with the outcomes of whatever shenanigans they get involved with. Do you want your life to be a series of shenanigans unnecessarily? That's for you to decide. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm presenting to you what's been happening. Period. Take it or leave it. It's up to you. We got a thing here that allows time that nobody can control. Some circles, they don't even believe time exists. Story for a different day. You got something right here that's allowing time, as time goes by, as we grow in life and evolve and do different things and get old and blah, blah, blah. It's every day. 00 UTC, cha-ching, 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 every single day. Whether you're whatever's going on in the world, these things is every single day. And that doesn't deserve some level of honor, of respect, of adoration, of like, yo, this right here is powerful, man. Billions of people right now don't know what this is about, but you do, and you dismiss it. You think that, your efforts to trade right now is just going to, right, outperform what's been paying you every single day. You could trade every day. You think you'll outperform the mechanics and the mechanism that's providing yield every single day. On top of that, it has other mechanics attached to it. You think trading is going to help that, is going to outperform that, do better over 15 years, for example? Forget about that. Over 10 years, the first 10 years, do you know the difference of what happens? Like, y'all have to understand. You have to learn. So, because a lot of y'all don't even know. You don't even know. I could tell from the language. A lot of y'all don't understand how this thing works. The difference between the 10 and 15 years, I'll wait. Let me know. I got the information, but show me that you learned something, that you even understand how this thing works. The first 10 years, boom. But why 15? What's the difference? Simple. Let's get back to the basic. You don't understand, you don't then understand. It's there. It's there for you. This thing is not as it's very complex, but it has to start from simple beginnings to keep it short and sweet, because this is how it is. I don't really want to learn the minutia of all this, because if I buy a vehicle, I don't really want to know about what took place, a carburetor, engine, all this thing, the adrenaline. No, 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 no. Point A, point B. Is it reliable? Is it safe? When I turn it on, does it take me to point A to point B? Then I'm good. And that's what this does for me. But I have to understand also, if I do X, Y, Z, this happens. If I don't do X, Y, Z, that happens. Man, we're here for a reason. We're here for a reason. There are billions of people that don't know what this is about. And y'all playing. I don't do this for popularity. I do this so that if YouTube should exist, the next 20, 25, 50 years, 100 years, well after my days are done, that maybe somebody will find this and extract some kind of, it'll be worth something to somebody from an ethereal perspective. Nothing monetary, just some type of value will be extracted from the content I create, not from popularity and who I can align with and which community I can pretend to be something that I'm not, so I could fleece the community with millions and millions of dollars and then run off and do something else, rebrand myself and do it with another community. And this is just how I live, to be just a living serpent. It's not what I do this for. The attention for, to some reason, yeah, I get it, but please, like, I leave that for other people. Other people are much greater at marketing than I am. I just like talking on the device to pass time in between a bunch of stuff I gotta do. Because if I didn't have to really be meet commitments and obligations, sure, I would do certain things, but I still wouldn't mislead the people. I still wouldn't forget that I have a responsibility when I'm speaking. I have an accountability. I have to hold myself accountable. A lot of folks in this community don't. They think they do, they act like they do, but they don't. Because listen to what they say. If you care, listen to what they say. And if they do a misstep, my thing has been consistent for the whole time I've been on this platform using YouTube. My story, my narrative has been consistent, period. 100%. Not many others who lie to you can tell you that. Why? Because they lie, they deceive, they're very deceptive. They hurt people and they don't care who they hurt. And you've seen it. And it is what it is, folks. Do better things with your crypto. It's facts, man. Shout out. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. EJ Cryptomatic says, salute to you too. Short term man. Thanks for streaming crypto on the YouTube, man. Replay gang. I gotta see your stream from yesterday. I didn't get a chance to, but I will. Shout out to Cryptomatic, DJ Cryptomatic. Shout out to FOMO TV. Exactly. 2 out of 3 branches working ain't bad. It's true. Tin Top says, what's up? As above, so below. Esoterics. Truth, honesty, integrity right here. Thank you. Oh man, thank you for your sentiments. Appreciate that. Big Boy now wants to be the face of Salon. Big Boy's, he's dealing with a great deal of transgressions. Like that, and that's clear too. You could tell. This is what I'm saying. And look, this is what I mean. Like this guy, man. When a person shows you who they are, believe them. You can't tell me this is a man who's not facing all kinds of internal obstacles and challenges and demons. Like this, and this channel went up, like that guy's story. I remember seeing him years ago when he barely broke 100K subs. Barely. I think it was around the 50K range or something like that. He was doing him. This was like 2017, around 18. And look what he's just like self-destructing. Like guy, man. And that's why I never understood why Richard Hart used to try to like align himself with these people. BitBoy, you're doing a stream with BitBoy. Like that wasn't a win for the community at all, in my opinion. That was not a win. Like this guy don't care. BitBoy doesn't care. It's a bunch of them. These big time, whatever, quote unquote big time, because it's all relative, because nobody really cares. They just built their channel. Pay them whatever they ask for, and they'll talk about whatever you got going on, except Richard Hart and Hex. The entire community has a deep disdain. The entire community, and I'm not talking about just Hex, because this is a small community. This is a small community, period. Versus the hundreds of other communities out here that had hundreds of thousands of people. The entire at large, crypto at large, has a deep disdain for Hex, and it's okay, or a deep disdain for Richard, because I think it's even deeper than Hex. Because I felt different about Hex before, but then I had to remove my ignorance, like let it go and look at this thing for what it is. And it's amazing because it still works. It still does what it was doing 3.5 years ago. It's still doing the same thing today and will continue to do. But people just deeply, like they can't stand this guy. They can't stand him. You can't tell me people that have been in this community from day one, all these OGs, blah, 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 and then they secretly talk behind his back, have Telegram groups, all this stuff, talking all kinds of stuff, conspire, this and that. They tweet out in the public, so oh, it's good that he's not here, or new leaders and all this stuff. Oh, weird. Come out with their own coins, their own project, their own this, their own that, and not even trying to align themselves with what Richard has created to be like really competitive. Because how many people came and talked about how they're gonna create something that's better than Hex and rug the Hex community? I mean, it's crazy, man. Like folks really don't like him. They really don't like him, yo. They don't like him, and they're secretly cheering. They know that this thing with SEC looks like it's weak on the surface. The whole argument, the whole investigation, this whole thing, it appears from a person from on the surface, it appears that they just have a weak position going against Rich. It's very weak. But the fact that it's just happening, all the haters are reveling, are celebrating this, man. Like it's crazy. It's unreal. It's crazy. It's just don't know what to even to even think anymore about that. You know, Mike Lindell Crypto. He said, "Buy my pillow." Mike Lindell Crypto. Tin Top says, "Oh, to FOMO. That fits in perfectly. They could rug him one more time." He said he's the Brigadier General. Who Big Boy? Big Boy, man. Big Boy, Big Boy. Big Boy, man. He's self-destructing, man. It's messed up. I learned just to stick to blue chip crypto so and forget it. But 2-3 happening. Yeah, that's long term. Yeah, man. That's long term OG successful perspective right there, man. There are a lot of wolves in sheep's clothing. There are a lot of wolves in sheep's clothing. Yeah, 100% dirty tactics. Dirty, dirty, dirty. Very dirty, nasty work, dirty business. Yeah, he did. He made XRP look good, and I think he's gonna make Hex look good too. I think he's gonna make Hex look very good. Make Pulse Chain look good. Make DeFi right here look very, because the dude, every time they ask him in a congressional whatever hearing and blah blah blah, every time they go direct at him and say, "Hey, what's going on with your stance with digital assets, cryptocurrency, blah blah blah," the guy just like he doesn't even deflect. He just keeps parroting, "Oh, efforts of others, and these things, and common pool of profits from work of others." This guy's it's four pronged Howey test and this. My goodness, man, this is all you got, Gary. This is all you working with. It's an embarrassment. If I'm sure a lot of people in the SEC are completely embarrassed and pissed off that their agency is being headed by this guy that looks like that Burns guy from The Simpsons, man. Because the way he's carrying himself is just disgusting. It's disgusting, especially after the whole FTX debacle. His ties with that. Yep, please, man. And then you have this a circus. It's all a circus. It's a circus. It's all a circus. There's so much stuff going on, and folks just whatever. But folks, that's all, folks. Like Woody Woodpecker. I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. Take care.